Uncinetto. I'm Christina, and I'm so glad that you're here with me today. If you're new, welcome in. If you're returning, welcome back. No matter how long you've been here, I always appreciate your time. I just want to give a big shout out to everyone who came for my podiversary. It was amazing, so much fun. I'm so glad that we were able to have such an amazing time together. And I hope that you enjoyed all of the giveaways. And if you haven't gone back for the replay, you might want to do that, just saying. All right, so today we are here yet again because Sam at Memphis Makes has tagged me in something. So she did a video with Mike on music that they enjoyed throughout their life. And it was a tag by Tracey, I believe, at Crochet Rocks. I don't remember which channel of hers it came from, but I believe that was the person. If I'm wrong, I'm so sorry, but I will link Sam and Tracey below, and I'll do my tag at the end. So I did not divide it up into categories as they did. I will talk a little bit about each song, but the lines were very blurred with some of these songs as to what part of my life they were in, and I never really had a like going out clubbing kind of part of my life. I had my son when I was 20, and yeah, I got a job soon after. There was no like really crazy part of my life. I mean, I was a sophomore in college when I had him, so and that's fine. I wasn't really like a big partier, and when I did go out with my friends in high school, it wasn't like a club sort of scene. Before I went I went to two different high schools. The first one was way out in the country. There were no clubs. There was the woods. There were bonfires. There were people's houses. And then when I went to my second high school, I mean, there were clubs. We couldn't get into them, but they were there. And we usually went to friends' houses or did big parties on the weekends. It wasn't really a lot of music playing necessarily, unless somebody turned something on in the background. I wasn't paying attention. So, I don't know. There was never really like that kind of scene for me anyway. So I do have my list here. I did it very quickly because the minute they tagged me in it, or even when I was listening to it, I was thinking of all these songs. And I will say that I identify much more with Mike's list than with Sam's list. I was doing a little bit of at some of Sam's choices, not for Sam in general, but I am not, and I never have been like a boy band or like big pop music kind of person. I did listen to New Kids on the Block growing up in the 80s. It's probably the only boy band, like that kind of boy band that I listened to. I mean, there were musical groups, you know, like Boys to Men and things like that I listened to. But like the boy band type or like pop music kind of stuff, that was probably the only one that I can remember. Now I know some of those songs, but only because they played incessantly in like stores and things, not because I liked them. And also, like Sam and Mike said, there are a plethora of songs that could have fit. I mean, I have 24 on my list, and it was hard to narrow it down to just 24. But I mean, I had, I think, probably 40 on my list, and I was like, I gotta narrow it down. So I have 24. I know they only did 20, but I'm gonna go through some of them a little bit more quickly than others. And these are in no particular order. Like I said, I didn't do any specific section, although I will talk about some of them. So the first one that's on my list is Lose Yourself by Eminem. If you've never heard the song, it's very much about being in the moment. Not necessarily, I wouldn't necessarily do it the way that he did it, but there are times where I can hear that playing in my head when something is happening. You know, you take that leap, you take that jump, and you just go for it, right? The next one is by a band that I know almost every word to every song. So this was hard, but this is one of my absolute favorites by them. It is Runaway Train by Soul Asylum, and all of these will be in the description box below, so you don't have to remember the names. I'll just literally copy and paste my list. But I remember hearing the song for the first time. I remember seeing the music video for the first time on MTV at my aunt's house, because we didn't have cable growing up. So I was at my aunt's house, and she had one of my other aunts was there who was younger, and she was watching MTV, and they were arguing about how MTV was this god-awful music, blah, 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 blah. And then they walked out into the garage or something, and I was sitting there, and then this song came on, and I was like, whoa. Like, I was crying by the time the music video was over. I was in tears. Yeah. So, but it is not, it's very different than Lose Yourself as far as beat and things are concerned, but it's still a very powerful song. The next one reminds me of my mom. She was very much a I don't want to say a rocker, but more of like a ballad kind of person. She likes people like Sinatra and the Rat Pack, which are older for her, like they were when she was younger. Growing up with me, I mean, she listened to those, but we listened to a lot of Rod Stewart and Bruce Springsteen and things like that. And we would have dance parties when I was really little, before she got remarried. We would have dance parties in the living room with her vinyl, her record player and her vinyl, and Rod Stewart we danced to all the time. And Maggie was probably the one that I remember us screaming at the top of our lungs, like just singing the song, right? So that one has positive memories for me from childhood. The next one is a song called Open Book by the band Cake. Again, another band that I know at least their first 3 albums. I know almost every song by heart. Growing up, I didn't watch a lot of TV, if you've never heard that that story. It just wasn't a thing for me. I spent a lot of time in my room reading and listening to music. So one thing that I got for my birthday when I was a teenager, I was very, very excited. It had a vinyl on the top so I could play records, and then in the middle it had a 5-disc CD changer, and then on the bottom it had 2 places for cassette tapes. So I could play all of my music, right? For any mood that I was in, I could grab whatever it is I wanted to listen to, and I could, oh man, if I still had that thing. Oh, so sad. We had an ice storm, and a tree fell through my room and destroyed a lot of my things, that being one of them. So I don't have that anymore, but man, I would just listen and rewind and listen, or play back and listen, and just over and over and over and over and over again. So yeah, it was amazing. But there are lots of songs by the band Cake that I could name again, but the one, Open Book, is very important to me. So the next one is the song Television, happily enough, by the band Bad Religion. The band Bad Religion is actually a really interesting group. If you look them up, I know a lot of their songs, not all of them, but I know a lot of them. They are very punk kind of band. There are a lot of punk-ish kind of bands on here. Grunge bands, rock bands. That's kind of what I was into. There are some country songs on here as well, but we'll get there. Television by Bad Religion is there was a time right towards the end of high school that I was struggling a lot. Because of family situations and things that were happening, and there was a place that we would go to, my friends and I. I guess it was kind of like a club, but more of like a concert hall, and there would be cover bands and all kinds of groups, even regular like bands that weren't cover bands, but they would go, and we would just go and shoot pool and hang out, and we were under 21. There was no drinking there, but we had a good time, and there was a band that did this song. I already knew the song, but there was a band that did the song, and it was pretty cool. The next one is Rose Tattoo by Dropkick Murphys. It is an interesting song, to say the least, but I do have a rose tattoo, not because of the song. It's actually a cover-up of another tattoo, but it is the song represents some of the meaning of the tattoo. The tattoo is of a rose for my son. And I hadn't heard the song until after I had the tattoo, but it correlates the meaning. The next one is John Legend, All of Me. So a very different track there, from Dropkick Murphys to John Legend. Again, full spectrum here. There are a lot of people in your life, but only very few, for most people, that you are very, very close to, and that you can be 100% yourself with. And that's what that song represents for me. The person that I had found wasn't a relationship person, not like a lover or a boyfriend or whatever, but it was just someone that I could be very close to, and open up to, and yeah, it's special for me. Excuse me. So the next one is Linkin Park. Again, woo, way over here. One Step Closer. So Linkin Park is another very strong group in my mind. I can do all of the albums up until Chester died. If you don't know who that is, well, look it up. But after that, it was a little bit harder for me to get into, but I still like them nonetheless. The next one is the song Motivation by Sum 41. Back to punk here. The song Motivation is an interesting one. It's whether you do or do not have the motivation, what you're going to do with the motivation that you have, where it takes you, that kind of thing. So I've been told that I'm a very motivated person. I don't know if that's true necessarily, as much as I'm it, pretty much. There's just me, so it has to get done, and I'm the one that has to do it, whether I really want to do it or not. So, the next group, I remember listening to them when I was very young, with my aunt and her boyfriend at the time, but I've continued to play their albums and things like that. The song is called Under My Voodoo, and the band is Sublime. So not so much punk, but more like a reggae, ska kind of group. And again, so many songs that I know by them that have meaning in my life. But this one especially for a very specific time in my life, when I was with my son's dad. Yeah. The next one is Riot Girl by Good Charlotte. Back to punk. Good Charlotte didn't last very long as a group, as a band, but I do know their music, and I ate it all up, all of it. So mainly during my teens and early 20s-ish. But still, I mean, I still listen to it now. It's on my Amazon music list. I listen to it all the time. Then back to like a grunge rock sort of group. Some people call them rock, some people call them grunge. I just love all of Nirvana. So the one that I chose is Pennyroyal Tea. Again, another one that lots and lots of memories to Nirvana. I did grow up in a time where we didn't have, like cell phones to play music and things like that. I didn't get my first cell phone until 17. I remember my aunt having one, but it was more like a in the car for emergencies kind of thing. And then I remember getting one, but only because I was away at school and I needed it because I was driving, and it was like this big, and literally I only had a certain number of minutes to be able to call for emergencies. So it wasn't like an all the time kind of thing. Like right now I'm recording on my phone. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that then, for sure. But I remember playing cassette tapes and CDs of Nirvana on the way while I was driving back and forth and all that. So definitely some good times. The next one is a little bit later because this person didn't hit the scene until I was out of high school, but I still definitely related to a lot of her music. It's Avril Lavigne and the song Complicated. So definitely a different take and a different direction, but definitely an important song. This next one, I'm going to try really hard not to cry because the first time I found out that I was sick and what was going on, like what actually was going on. The first time I got my cancer diagnosis, I was by myself. My mom knew that I was sick. My family knew that something was going on, but they didn't know what. And I didn't want to tell anybody anything until I had answers. That's just how I am. Unless I know what's going on, like there's no sense in worrying somebody if I don't know what's happening. Because then all manner of possibilities, right? It could be this, it could be that, it could be blah, blah. And then people worry themselves and exhaust themselves. And I know they love me and they'll do it anyway, but if they don't have to give me that energy, and if they need to give that energy to somebody else who needs it, I'd rather it go in that direction. So I didn't say anything. But when I got my diagnosis, I was on my way home and I was at a stoplight and I was just flipping through music channels and this song came on, and it's Live Like You Were Dying by Tim McGraw. And every time I hear it, I cry. Doesn't matter where I am, what I'm doing, I'm gonna cry right now. But it was a very life-changing moment. Not only finding out that I had stage 4 cancer, but then the song coming on and like, bow, really kicking me right in the gut, right? It was really, really hard, but I listened to it on repeat, and it became an anthem of sorts. I'd listened to Tim McGraw a lot, even before he was with Faith Hill, who he's married to, who I also love. I did listen to country a lot growing up because where I lived, they didn't really have very many stations. The country was about it. So some of the next ones are definitely country songs. But that one is important to me. The next one, it's more country. Like once I got to that song, I kind of was like, boom, 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 knock them out. The next one is Standing Outside the Fire by Garth Brooks. Just jump in with both feet. Not necessarily into everything, but just jump in and be a part of life and things that are important to you. If you're always on the sidelines, you're not always going to experience everything. And it may be a bad experience, and you don't know that if you don't give it a shot. So, the next one is Fancy by Reba McEntire. We didn't have a lot growing up. Not to the point of that song, if you know the song. But as I've gotten older and I'm able to provide more for my children than I had, and we're able to just have things a little bit better. I hear this song in my head a lot, even now. The next one is a newer artist. Her name is Lily Rose, and it's the song Villain. Definitely a powerful one. I actually found this one through Instagram. I never would have known that this artist existed if it wasn't for Instagram. So, but definitely a powerful song. We're going to take it all the way back to high school, college, even later. I mean, I still listen to it now, but 3 Days Grace, the song Chalk Outline. I know a lot of their music, but this one in particular is very strong for me. Then we're going to go in a different direction to an artist. Her name is Joss Stone. And there's a song that she has called This Ain't Love. Again, I know a lot of her songs, but this one in particular is strong for me. I may be running through some of these, and I'm sorry. Some of them are extremely emotional for me, and I don't want to completely break down. But also, I don't have a lot of time recording on my phone, so I want to try and say some of these, and I do have more than 20. I know I'm reaching the 20 mark with the next one, but I am gonna do the last ones, and then we'll be good to go, right? The next group, going back, is Metallica. Definitely a rock band, right? For whom the bell tolls. Not only for its literary references, but for the message of things to come, right? Because we don't know when that will be for each person. I do enjoy a lot of Metallica's music. Yeah, like I'm singing it in my head right now. But yeah, definitely important for me. I remember the first time I heard it. All of these songs, I remember the first time I heard them, which is why they're on a list. And the groups or the artists are all people that I listen to more than just this song. So there are songs that are significant, but these people or groups or whatever, however they are, I know more than just one song by this artist or group. So they were on that list because a lot of their albums or things that they've done are significant to me. The next one is a group called Offspring. Again, a little bit more punk music. It's called She's Got Issues. The song they're probably most known for is Pretty Fly for a White Guy, which I do know that song by heart, but the song She's Got Issues more identifies with situations in my life, kind of like the song Villain, where you don't really know what somebody's going through, but you may assume, right, that they're to blame when there's something else going on in the background that you're not aware of. Alright, so Metallica was 20, Offspring was 21. The next one is Green Day, a group called Green Day. The song Boulevard of Broken Dreams. That's been a song for a couple of times in my life where I thought I was there. I thought I was happy and things were going to be content for a while, and then they weren't. And we had to move on and pick up the pieces and keep going. Two more. The last one is So Many Tears by Tupac. Not the last one, the next one, next to last. So Many Tears by Tupac. And the last one is Nothing Even Matters by Lauryn Hill. These will all be in the description box below. I want to cry so hard right now, so I'm trying hard to get through them. The last two, specifically around when my grandfather passed away, those songs became prominent again in my life, because it was very hard for me. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to leave it at that. Please let me know in the comments below if you know any of these songs. If you looked any of them up, just let me know what you think of them. And as always, be the change you wish to see in the world, everyone. Ciao bella. Oh, sorry, I forgot to do my tags. So quickly, I just want to tag Jaxie at Creations by Jax and the wonderfully weird Madonna, Queen of Green, to do this music tag. Ciao bella.